All right, we're back. Let's see if we get everybody back. Yo.
What's up, bro? Short pause for the calls.
Wait,
Yeah.
let me get all them people I had in here. Can I invite now?
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
invite them all in, or invite them all back in if you want.
I am. I'm inviting everybody in. Wait, is it
Yeah,
like,
actually, I'm gonna send mine out too.
yeah, let's pack this room back up. This is a good conversation.
We're back. We're back. I'm happy everybody's enjoying the conversation. The No Ideas Original Podcast. Let me get Corey back.
Shout out to you, Miss Nels. God bless you, sweetheart. I appreciate your wisdom, man. Is she free again?
Who, me? I'm
Yeah, I said I appreciate your wisdom, man, for
no,
real.
y'all should have saw me in my house. I was like, I gotta get on. I gotta request. I'm so goddamn animated. And the thing is,
Dr.
I ain't
Wade, I see
driving
you,
my
Dr.
truck.
Wade.
Gas costs too much money.
Right, stay home for a little bit. Stay home for a little bit,
I'm
yo.
in the house.
Yeah. No, I was saying earlier, somebody said they was like, they don't understand why black people vote Democrat. And I was saying black people vote Democrat because their
Learn
moms,
behavior.
That's what we
their
were taught.
grandparents, their great
Yeah.
grandparents.
When my mother took me the first vote, she said, just cross off all the
Demo-
way down, Democrat.
Democrat.
Okay,
Learn
Ma.
learn behavior, man. That's the recipient of all of what's happening. It's what we learn. The environment. You're a product of your environment. So what you see in your environment, you repeat it. You emulate it. You know what I'm saying? And it was crazy growing up in in a community riddled with drugs, and people were like, "Yo, Rob, why you want to touch a pack?" Because I don't like running from the cops. That's easy. I don't want to be running from the cops. Every time I step out my door, I gotta be, nah, bro. But if you want to do it, listen, I'm not here to judge you, man. That's your life. That's what you want to do. You know what I mean? But
Mm,
my environment taught me different. Well, I learned different in my environment. I won't say it taught me different. I learned different in my environment.
yeah, we getting folks back in the room. And
Yeah,
keep the comments coming too. This is a good discussion. And this whole discussion started all from us talking about Mayor
Broken
Adams,
window.
broken windows, policing
I
now.
gotta look that up.
Yo, sis, when you
Yes,
look it up,
I gotta do my homework on that theory.
it's a
broken window
crazy theory.
theory, it's a crazy theory, and it depicts urban environment. You know what urban is keyword for. You know what I mean? That's just a code word for niggas or
There you
black
go.
people or the hood or where impoverished people rest or whatever narrative they want to use. They consolidate it to urban.
If we have people in here in the chat that actually are from New York City, are you opposed to the broken windows policing theory? Would you like to see the city actually go after people for more quality of life crimes? Do you want them
And if you don't
to
know what broken theory is, I can explain it.
do you
I can read from what I wrote.
do you want people to, do you want them to convict more people that are involved in public urination, um, public indecency, public intoxication, turnstile
Littering, right.
littering? Do you want people? You want them to address that? Because look, again, I'm saying this. We're talking about this all from a position of people that no longer live in New York City. So we looking at it, and we may be thinking to
From the
ourselves
outside
like,
looking in.
sense, you know. So here's the formal. I'll give a formal definition on broken windows policing. The broken windows theory is a criminological theory that states that visible signs of crime,
Yep.
antisocial behavior, and civil disorder create an urban environment that encourages further crime and disorder, including serious crime. The theory suggests that policing methods that target minor crimes, such as vandalism, loitering, public drinking, jaywalking, and fare evasion, help to create an atmosphere of order and lawfulness. So what do you think about that? Do you think that by addressing those items, it'll help to decrease the amount of violent crime that's currently occurring in the city.
Let's see what people got to say.
Corey, you look like you're not buying it.
Yo, bro, all you gotta do is put more cops in the. All you gotta do is saturate the communities with beat walkers.
That's
If
a
you from
fact.
the if you from the '90s and
You know.
you can't see that, then I don't know what to say. And me living outside of New York, I want full pressure, however way it come, because I want to be
Right,
comfortable going back into the community. I'm not
right.
comfortable going back into the community, but by no means though, it should be that reckless.
Do you know?
Let's put some cops.
I have, my theory on why beat walkers went away is I think beat walkers went away, one, because people were probably complaining that neighborhoods were being over policed. That's one. But also, I think beat walkers went away
The
probably
zero
because,
tolerance, the zero tolerance shit.
because look, there are other things that's in neighborhoods now that's supposed to be a deterrent to crime. That's supposed to save money. So now you think about it, like once upon a time, you would have to have police officers on the side of the highway and strategically placed to catch people speeding. But now everywhere you go in New York City,
The
there's
speed trap.
speed
But
traps,
yo,
cameras
but
everywhere
Shannon, listen to
to
this though.
reduce the physical presence costs associated with having these people, having these damn police officers there. So some of this stuff, if you think about it, more and more now than when we were younger, how many crimes have you witnessed via the news showing you like, oh, we got it on camera. We see people attempted to get raped. We see murders on camera. We see all this stuff. So that's the reason why I think that they went away from saying like, you know what, we have these other deterrents, this physical presence of actually putting these police officers here,
That's my book.
they
Nah,
may have went away with it, and now
nah,
they
but
got to go back to it.
real talk, right? I think when we was coming up, we kind of understand that the community. It was some unrest. It was some fighting between the
Yeah.
community and the beat walking police officers, right? That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what tells you how weak the community is. You have like Nazi-like towers that beam bright lights in particular hot communities. How is it that you have a police command tower
Mm-hmm.
beaming a light on apartment buildings or in the projects? Like,
Mm.
explain that to me. Like, you just gonna have lights on all night with a police tower presence there, and
And
some of the
think that the
kids
life
there
is
don't
going to
even,
deter.
and some of the kids that's in these neighborhoods don't even respect that.
Like it's a
So that tell you
concentration.
right there they don't have. Right. I think you need the one-on-one communication. Like I've been seeing videos with cops is going on the basketball courts, playing with the kids.
Shout out to
You
Yeah.
Seattle.
need community. You need community policing, like what Daryl do.
Yeah.
But you need it to a little. Daryl come in after the problems.
Mm-hmm.
You need it. You need them before the problems. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I don't know, man. You need a.
I had a conversation with Daryl this week, and I was saying to him because he was like he wanted to do something, and I was saying to him, I was like, yo, maybe we could film like a documentary or something. But then he was saying that, I said, but don't the police got to give their approval to do it? And he was saying like, yeah, that the police will have to give their approval and all that. But then to me, that kind of undermines actually doing it because then it just becomes police, like police literature, police, the police already got public relations. They don't need us in that regard.
That's a fact.
And then they're gonna edit out all the stuff that you want to put in it. They're
So
gonna edit that out, the real stuff.
Tanisha03 said we need community policing. It's very important. I agree. We need community policing. We also need to do some policing of our own community. And we talked about that earlier. We were saying that, and not I don't know where you live at, but in some neighborhoods, it's a norm not to do some of these things that they're mentioning because the people who live in the community have no tolerance for it.
They don't want to see cops ever. They don't want no police
They
in there.
don't. But listen. Some of them don't even know the reason. Is a monkey see, monkey do. Some of them don't even know the reason why they
Learn
don't want to
behavior,
see
man.
police officers, bro.
Learn
Like my thing
behavior,
is
man.
this. My thing is this. If you hate
Or bring
politics,
back
don't pay taxes.
oh,
That's my thing. If you hate politics and you hate positive influence and you can't help, don't pay taxes. Go be a nomad. Go live.
Live off
Go
the
get you a
grid.
trailer. Go live off the grid. Because at the end of the day, you pay taxes.
Hmm. And that's a
You know what I'm
symbol
saying?
to
So when
stand
you pay
for.
taxes,
Yo,
you
and
associate it with everything.
the way the world is going, we about to be off the grid. Ain't gonna be no food in a
So
second, son.
head up, wings out says too many corrupt cops, not the answer. What do you explain a little bit for us? Too many corrupt cops, not the answer. So, maybe she believes, okay, when I was growing up, the police interacted with the community and the kids. And the
Yes, sir.
interaction with the community and the kids was not always from a punitive standpoint, right? Like
Right.
if the kid's first interaction with a police officer is you being detained, then
Uh,
that sets the
We
perception
talked
of
we
what.
talked we talked about this before, Shot. PAL, Police
Yeah.
Athletic League. Where is
Incentives.
that? And that was at every precinct.
They
Every
cut the
every
funding.
neighborhood, every neighborhood I went to play ball in, I played at a PAL.
That's
Yo,
a
All
fact.
through the Bronx, all through Harlem, everywhere.
when they were talking about
If you find two, you're lucky.
when they were talking about defunding the police, that's what I thought that they were going to do. The defunding the police, I thought was going to be about actually reallocating those monies into those kind of resources.
Yeah, son. They have
Somebody,
I
to.
think that's what they. I think that's what they meant, but nobody had the brains to explain it. Because everybody ran. Because everybody ran the optics. Not the optics, but people, the radicals. You know what I'm saying? They ran with the notion that defund the police means we not take all the money away from them, strip them of what they need to have, and just let the community do what they need to do. You know what I'm saying? I think the message wasn't brought out there fast enough with that.
Right.
yeah, and if it's a narrative too, like crime is up, and you talking about defunding the police, right? So,
Poor timing. That's poor timing to be talking about defunding the police when crime is up. You need the police, man. You
yeah,
need
but
some
I
sort
think
of structure out there, man.
language around defunding police, like it sounds much more buzzworthy than actually saying
But I
reallocate
tell you
the
this,
funds.
when you talk about defunding police, I found out a little tidbit of information. To fund the police, New York City police, $10 billion a year.
Mm.
You know how much it is to fund Ukraine military? $5 billion. And they going to war with Russia. How is our police system cost more than Ukraine military who's at war right now? So what type of war does the police department think they're in when you got to fund them over
The black
10
one.
billion a year?
Mm.
And
I
they
think our
only
population.
and they're only targeting broken window theory communities.
You
Who's the
Nah,
war
Rob. I think
against?
you know
Who's the war
yo,
against?
New York's,
you know
but
something though,
New
like
York City is unique.
go ahead, Corey. Go ahead.
It's a
New
city.
York City is unique, but it's unique. You got 1,000 projects.
Hmm.
You got a lot of poverty people. You got
Hmm.
crazy homeless people.
Right.
You know, like look at the
We house
sanitation. Look how
we
much
house
garbage it
about
is,
what? 15, 12, maybe let's say 15 million people documented.
and we don't sleep.
We ain't talking
And
about the undocumented.
right, and we don't sleep. So it's continuous with us.
That's a fact. That's some good
So
point.
the funding need to be there.
You know what they need to do?
But Ukraine's population is 5 times more than New York City.
But
Yeah.
they crime ain't.
You know what? You know
That's
what? You
true.
know what? You know what they need to do? They
They
need they
crime
That's
ain't.
really
true.
they really need to start relying on the police to address mental health issues, because
Thank
police
you.
are not mental health.
100%.
100. They're
I
not.
agree with that.
That's why they kill them. They're
Hmm.
not.
I agree with that.
They're not.
Peace, Nels. I see you, baby.
Yeah, you put the police in a position where they go in and respond to these domestic calls, and they don't have the training or the skills to successfully de-escalate
They
this stuff.
they bring in the battering ram for domestic violence.
Well, yeah, that's you see the nightstick and all that.
Yeah,
Like
they scared. They're scared because they don't know. They're not trained.
Right. And to depict how they're trained too. They could be trained to go in there on the Gestapo style. You know what I mean? To wrangle a couple of heads, bang a couple of heads. Some police officers are excited at the fact that this broken window theory is back in place because it goes right back to zero tolerance. Broken window policy becomes associated with controversial police practices. How do
Mhm.
you separate the two when you get an unruly little 17 up like, oh, fuck you. All right. Bring your ass here. You know what I mean? There's no decorum there, yo.
yeah,
Full. Central Booking gonna be full.
Loaded.
Yo, but
I think
again, look, I wanna reiterate, make sure you understand. They're not talking about youth. They talking about adults that they want to
They talk
see.
about everybody, pretty
Everybody,
much.
but the adults. That's
How
not
you
the
call it?
answer. Let's
The,
go after the big crimes and that for the little.
the youth, you figure they all gonna get swept, and they gonna, that's gonna be sent to different facilities and stuff like that to deal with.
Yeah.
We talking about adults committing quality of life crimes. That, and again, like, it's easy to be on the outside and look at this stuff and be like, yo, you shouldn't be overly concerned about these quality of life crimes. But the truth of the matter is, if you lived in that community, if you live in a community, you are like, yo, I don't want to come outside to somebody urinating with my kids, or
Yeah.
I don't want to live in a community where they blasting the music all the time. I'm not opposed to them actually attempting to do something around these crimes. My opposition is that I don't think that it should be the focus of their policing. Like, I get why you would want
how
to.
do you
No, I agree with
you
you.
can't
I don't.
you
I think
can't
start
stop
at the top. These are stupid crimes.
yeah,
I'd
you
say
can't
address
stop
them.
nobody from urinating. You can't. How do you do that? The
Well,
numbers, look at the numbers. 12 million people, you want to stop? Look, that doesn't make sense.
It's not gonna happen, son. Now when liquor stores and mommy stores selling
but
beer and all that and blob and ring,
And
hold on. They haven't
they just
stopped
got
it.
pissed
They
everywhere they go.
they haven't stopped it. They haven't stopped it. But let's say considerably lower quality of life crimes committed. How do you think it stopped out there?
Say that one more time, Sean.
Said that, how you call it, like, if we look at New York City and we saying that we're gonna stop these quality of life, we want to stop these quality of life crimes, right? And we compare it
Yeah,
to
right.
Beverly Hills, and we saying that, okay, these quality of life crimes don't exist. Corey was saying that, you know what, you can't stop people from urinating. What's stopping people from urinating in the street in Beverly Hills versus people urinating in the street in New York City?
yo, you can't get the homeless people. They got to be the richest homeless people in Beverly Hills, bro. You can't move them.
So
So how you gonna stop?
we working from the premise that the only people urinating on the street is homeless people.
Bro,
That ain't true.
Yo, you
I
know what
don't
the
know how
difference
you
is?
listen. I don't even.
Everybody that come from the club is pissing on
Yo,
the
you know what the
street.
difference is?
There's probably somebody
It's
pissing in the
social,
street right
yo.
now, yo.
It's become socially
They not
acceptable in
homeless.
the inner city communities to publicly urinate. That's the difference, or whatever. Like,
Shinar,
that's what
yo,
makes it
Shinar,
different with the
listen.
police. How do you do that?
This got to be a Saturday Night Live sketch. You got more dogs peeing on the street than humans. Dogs, dogs, bro.
So what they
Dogs,
that's
Corey.
the question.
dogs, bro. Think about it,
Right,
What
dogs.
right.
should
So
go
how
in?
you gonna stop humans from peeing on the street, bro? Like,
Yo,
Dogs are pissing and shitting on the street.
I want to know.
Okay, how about putting more latrines in the communities where there's high pissing?
I can't believe our conversation is about police and public urination, which is crazy
No,
because
it's the
none of us
petty
are in law
crime.
enforcement.
But it's a petty crime. But
Boom.
It's the
Look,
petty
yo,
crimes, the
look,
jaywalking and all that.
look what one Janelle said. Look what one Janelle said. That's the point I was making exactly. The cultural expectations are different in the suburbs. That's not policing. That goes back to, yo, this is the norm where we at. This is how
Yeah, it's the learned behavior. I'm telling you, the littering, man. The littering plays that part too. You see someone throw some shit out the window, you be like, yo, what, fuck that. I ain't wait till I get to a garbage can. Throw that shit out.
you know what? You know why, Rob? Because you got New York sanitation. They get overtime.
They come by and
You
clean
get
it up, right?
you get overtime, bro. They get overtime. Let's
I
throw it in the street. You
yo,
know what
I'm
I'm saying?
gonna be honest with you. I didn't even know until I read. I didn't even know until I read that this was Mayor Adams' plan, that public urination was that big of an issue. I didn't know it was
Yes,
happening like
sir.
that.
Nah, no, you can't look at it that literal. That's a smoking, like Rob said earlier, smoking mirrors. There's something, there's a hidden agenda under that, and I think he was legally playing it smart because it's probable cause. That give probable cause for you to really run around and do what you want to do.
That's
And like I
Right.
said,
true.
That's
at
what
this
it's doing.
point,
That's where the zero tolerance come in at, Cole.
Yeah.
Trust me,
Yeah,
that's what.
yeah. It's the cobra snake. You know what I'm saying? Like let that play out. Cause right now they need that.
Right.
Like, yo, I originally ran up on him because he was urinating in public, but I caught him with a gun. Damn.
That's a
Yo,
win.
listen,
That's a
listen.
win-win for a
Hey,
cop, I guess.
yo, back in the days, you couldn't. They really was locking you up for reckless eyeballing. You know what that is? That's really looking at the cops a certain type of way, or indicating to somebody else on another corner that they gotta go. Police officers seeing you indicating to somebody that the cops are coming, they're gonna lock you up with that too. It's a petty crime.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Here we are, man.
Yeah, it's easy again for us, the Monday morning quarterback. And
Staring.
sure, Mayor
Yep.
Adams finding out now for sure. Like, yo, damn, like, yo, this New York City mayor job ain't what I thought it would be.
Tougher than what I
I'm
thought.
going back to. I want to go back to Brooklyn Council. Let me go backwards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and with
so
all
he gonna get a tough ride, man.
and yo, with
He'll
all
be
that,
alright. He'll be a
with all that
vegetarian.
being said, though, now this is the part that we haven't discussed. That now you put the police officer in a position where they got to go out and actually enforce this stuff.
Yo.
That's where the zero tolerance, cause they ain't got no patience either. Remember, they humans too, son. At the same point, when they ain't gonna tolerate but so much disrespect, man. It's gonna be, we use the word anarchy. I hate for it to go there, but
Hmm?
it's gonna be tough, especially with this younger generation. They don't abide by anything. They don't listen to no authority. They don't listen to their parents. They don't listen to nothing but their emotions. How they feeling at the moment is how they react.
Mm.
And that in itself, being emotional at that level is already a dangerous cocktail to be dealing with. B. I pray that it
Yo,
works out for the best.
yo,
Huh?
yo,
Who
mostly
said what?
I seen police pissing on the streets. Well, so what do we do with that?
Right, drunk, right? Because they drunk in their damn squad car. That shit ain't coffee. This is a shot.
Maybe you can make a citizen's arrest.
How about that? I would love to do
Call
that.
three. Call 311.
311. I see Officer so and so pissing in the corner.
Yo, but you look what Kenyatta said. They'll be frustrated enforcing this stuff. It's hard to get behind something you don't necessarily believe in. And again, I'm guessing that there are probably police officers that are like, yo, I have so much more important stuff that I could be going after. So much we could be doing with other people committing crimes that I don't know if this is the priority. My concern for it is like the backlog. So if you got people sitting in central bookings for days already, and they haven't been so-called prosecuting these low-level offenses, if they start arresting people and running them through the system for this stuff, then you're gonna have people that's sitting there. Imagine that somebody get picked up for urinating in public, and they
But
sit
that's
in
what the beat
bookings for
walkers.
4 days.
But that's what the beat walkers are there for. Because those are the only people that's gonna catch you pissing. There ain't gonna be nobody in the squad car. There's gonna be a
But
beat walker
see,
walking the neighborhood, and you off because you got to pee so bad. You in the corner, and he gonna be like this. I'm just waiting for you to finish.
but
Yo,
yo, that's why
You
it's
need
a
a
money
wipe.
grab.
Yeah.
It gotta be a money grab. Cause before, when you got like a ticket for indecency in the park or something like that, or you was in the park after dusk, you get a bench
that's a
ticket
parent
to
ticket.
appear.
Yeah, that's a
Right.
parent ticket.
Yeah, but I think now if they're smart, they're add a fine to it. Yo, you got to pay $60, $70,
Right.
and kick them right out the system.
I will hope
Yeah.
so. Cause yo, here's the other thing. Imagine, yo, and this sounds crazy, but imagine if you get a job and you get ran through the system because you get caught pissing in Crotona Park, and you get a job, and don't that sound crazy?
You
They'll
got to
figure it
tell them,
out just like
I've been
weed.
arrested. They ask you, have you been arrested? Yes, for pissing.
Somebody
Fuck
said, can you to discuss how people can police their own neighborhood and self-sufficiency. Yeah, that was a great discussion. I
Yo, that
think
would never work in the Bronx. That would never work in New York City.
policing your own neighborhood.
Never.
Why do you say that?
The community don't respect themselves. They're not gonna
Mm.
respect. They don't even respect police. You think they're gonna respect you, your neighbor? They need Miss. They gotta go to 227 and get Miss Jenkins, get a walkie-talkie or something, bro. Like you need an old person to do that. And everybody's all these young kids is gang members. They not listening to you.
Yo, you know what, Corey? I think you hit the nail on the head earlier when you said it. You was talking about ownership, and you was talking
Hmm.
about like that cultural norm around ownership. Like like if you own
How you
something,
treat your stuff, right? You treat
actually,
your stuff
yeah,
better.
like actually having
And it's
value in it.
but it's still disrespectful. And you go back into the five boroughs and you see a BMW on the block, you see certain shit on the block, materialistic things that cost, niggas still disrespect that. Sit
Hmm.
on your car, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? Had a dog shit near your door,
Yo,
you know what I'm saying?
they have that whole meal on the fucking roof of your car. Niggas lean up on your shit eating the turkey sandwich. You don't have
Niggas
no
got bar-
respect, man.
niggas got Webers in between the two cars, sitting there barbecuing in front of your Lexus. Like they don't care, yo, dog.
That's
They
New
don't
York.
care in the hood.
That's New York,
Yeah, that's New
B.
York City. You gotta wash yourself out.
He said, "You gotta wash yourself out."
Yeah, they gotta. It's almost to where people are saying enough is enough, and they gotta change. The people gotta change. That's why I said family structure in your household is important because police. It don't matter how much police, what politician is in there. The community
Right,
itself
Hmm.
has to
right,
say, "Yo, I'm tired of this."
Hmm.
right.
Right?
And that
But
goes back to
people don't live in a
self-sufficiency, man.
right, but people don't live in their communities 10 years, 13 years, 14 years. It's starting to be like the South. They be in their communities 2 years and they out of there
Yeah, but why
Hmm.
you think they out? They
because
out
they
because
rent. They can't pay. They lost their job.
or the conditions.
They,
Yeah,
you know, yeah, conditions is bad.
the conditions. But I do believe that there are good people that's living in a city and they have good intentions.
Hell yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think I do.
Hell yeah.
I also think that
The transplants.
there are some people though I think that are like pillars in their community and value their communities. Like I'm thinking because I'm from the Bronx, I could think
That's a
about like
fact.
even like the country club area up in the Bronx. You
Right.
see like more people are invested in. Okay, and the other thing is again, the attachment to property value. Like, yo, this is my property. I know that if this is dilapidated, then it runs down my property value. There's a disconnect around that stuff that a lot of people don't have the level of understanding and awareness around. Kareem made a good point. People need to start policing their own
Mhm.
household. Maybe if
Their own household, B. Yeah, son.
That's
That's
a
where it
fact.
starts.
See, I told yo,
That's where it
that's a
starts,
big
bro.
fact.
A home. If we can't fix our homes, our broken homes, where do you think it spills off?
Outside ain't gonna be good.
It spills off to the community because we can't stay in the house in the broken home every day, all day. We
That's
have
right.
to go in the community. When we grew up, we had, well, I always remember Miss Alice because that's who was the 227 lady. And also, I do remember Tenant Patrol. But
Right. I remember that too.
old ladies downstairs, some kids will beat them up. They have no
Yeah.
respect. None.
So,
one Janelle said they need to see that they can attain something. I agree with that too.
Yeah.
I agree with that too. I think tangible
Mhm.
things is of value. But also, I think that what we're up against with this generation, and not to throw it off on the generation stuff, but I think that when you start looking at social media is not glorifying some of the stuff that like that people used to take pleasure in. Like I remember growing up, and people was like, "Oh, Miss So and So got a job at the post office. She
Mhm.
gonna retire. This, that." Now it's like if you get a job at the post office, you a sucker. You got a job at the post office. You can't get the
and they don't even
Balenciaga.
know it.
You can't do
When
this.
when you retire from that place, your benefits and your pension is out of this world. You know what I mean? And that comes with knowledge. You just looking at it, oh, that's a post office job. Who want to deliver mail? Let me tell you something. You do 30 years in there, you are set. I know a young lady right now I grew up with, went in there maybe right after high school or something. She's still in her 40s and did like almost 30 years.
Mhm.
You hear me? Still young, looking good and all that.
Mm-hmm.
When she retires, she's set. And then she can move on and do a hobby or something. She can create her own, be an entrepreneur after that. People short sight a lot of different things because they don't see the value in it long term.
Because
People
it's
don't
not
have the patience
job.
for long term availability. They don't have they just don't want to do shit for long term. They want shit like this, B.
It's not.
Microwave society want everything fast, man.
It's
Yeah, it's not
crazy, man.
Gratification
memory.
immediately.
It's a crazy society. I'm just happy I grew up in the era I grew up in.
Yep. Yep.
And
We're fortunate. We're
and,
definitely
and
fortunate,
yo,
dude.
and gifted, like, cause it's I don't know how you. I think we getting worse.
Nah, it
I just
is.
think we getting worse. New York, for me, New York City is full of transplants, and I just don't know how we gonna get to a better place
In New
without the
York,
community being involved. Yeah, in New York City.
New York City.
Yo, you see what
I just don't
Cant
know.
said? It's unfortunate that when you get to a point where you can be a role model, you end up moving out of the community. That's true.
That's true.
Because that should always be the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The goal is not to stay there. I used to hate people say, "Yeah, I'm gonna live in the hood." Hey, you live on a planet. You want to live here forever? Are you serious?
Yeah,
Yeah, son, the store's right there, mommy's store. I got the liquor store. Everything is right here in your beck and call. And you still ain't doing nothing, man.
Mm-hmm.
Stop that. I encourage everyone. I left New York when I was young to go live in Maryland. And when they really hit me, it was like, yo, ain't none of my friends coming to visit me. And Baltimore's only 3 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've taken a train for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And you can't get a round trip
To get to
ticket
Coney
to
Island.
Maryland just
Yeah.
to come and hang out.
D train, the last stop on the D train.
Coney Island.
That's a
Yeah, son,
ride.
3 hours, B. And that's how I would say, but you
it's
know
bad.
what? People aren't used to leaving their community.
No.
And
Or
I seen the same thing in Baltimore. People that live on East Baltimore do not go west,
west.
and vice versa. They
Yeah.
go, oh, you going over east? I ain't going over there. Over east, too crazy. I'm like, yo,
But then,
Baltimore is smaller than the South Bronx.
Rob, then that's an individual problem. But then that's multiples. That's
Yeah,
multiples of people, right?
that's
So how do you fix?
generations, B. That's
But how do
generations.
you? But how do you fix the complacency? Like, how do you fix that? Or you just leave it the
Hmm.
way it is? Because if you need them to know what good look like.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So how do you fix that? I don't know how you fix that, bro.
It's tough, man. It's
We
tough, man. You have to encourage people to be like, look, it's more to the west side of Baltimore. There's more to just being on Boston Road. There's more to just living in co-op. I always use the term, this is a planet. You can go anywhere on
Right.
this planet you want to go to, B. And if you know the demographic or the measurement of the planet, there's a lot of useful land that we're missing. Everyone likes to live on
But
the coast. You ever
but
drove, you
hold
ever
on.
driven to
But
California?
yeah, but Rob, here go. But check this though. You take a city person
Hmm.
and throw them in the south. They might not know how to fix a flat tire.
Yo, or you take a city
So,
person
You
and
might be
put them
right.
in.
You might.
Yo,
Yo, I can't even argue with that. Yo, I'm not.
you got you got people from the city that go to the south and don't even drive and can't
mm-hmm.
maintain in the drive living down there because they can't drive. But yo, the other thing I was gonna say also about like somebody said exposure, which makes sense. But there are dudes that's like my age that never been off the block, and I'm
Never been off the block.
years ago, I used to work in foster care, and I used to ask kids like if you could go anywhere where you want to go. There was kids that said they want to go to Rob Playland. Think about it. Rob Playland, literally a 20-minute drive from the
Yeah.
city. And their mind is they want to go to Rob Playland. So what is that, Rob? You always talk about imagination. What does that tell you about
Mhm.
imagination if you think going
Right.
somewhere in life is going to Rob Playland? So
Look, as long as it's outside of the four corners of the wall that you live in that environment you live in, Ride Playland could be Disneyland to them. But what will happen once you reach Ride Playland? Your imagination will probably grow even further from there. You have to step out of your norm. You got to step out of your circle or your comfort zone. That's one thing. I go back to Baltimore. Me moved to Baltimore. It took me 100% out of my comfort zone. And the moment I wanted to come back to New York, my best friend said, "Why the hell are you coming back here? You're coming back here to sleep on somebody's couch. Figure it out." He said, "Yo, figure it out. Do not come back to New York." That's exactly what I did. And I stayed in New York. I stayed in Baltimore for almost 18 years, bro. Had the best time of my life. Had the best career I could ever have as a young man. Fortunately, I lost my kidney there because I was so enamored with being young and successful. And my lifestyle just got out of hand until it slowed me down. Like, yo, bro, you doing all this moving. You got to go to the doctor, too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There's structure, there's parameters you got to pay attention to. And I went off the deep end. I'm being just 100% transparent. But it taught me something about accountability because I could not blame no one on this planet for me losing a kidney.
Mm-hmm.
That was 100% my fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
Kids aren't.
that exposure is important though.
Yeah.
It's very important, man. You gotta expose yourself. And to Corey's point, a lot of exposure is in a book, which allows you to open up your imagination. You can read them
Nobody
words in there and you depict a vision of what California look like, what Miami will look like. All these places outside of your community where you can actually take yourself, man. You can actually do that.
when the
People need
last
to
time you
understand
seen the when the last time you seen the encyclopedia salesperson come through the community?
that.
They haven't
Like,
knocked on my door.
They still have them?
right,
Yo, that's not fair because it's probably digital
It's
now.
online. They still
Google
dog,
everybody.
the libraries is not even full no more. The libraries is not even full no more. When the last time you seen a bunch of school kids come out the library?
Oh man.
Nah, son. It's on Google, son. Everything is on Google right now.
Janelle said people would think that you're, I can't get it, like bragging if you try to bring them somewhere different. That's true.
They
Well, I
think you're
mean
bragging?
that's all about the level of openness. You know, like
Yeah.
anything. In order for anybody to learn anything, you have to be open. And I think that's a show in itself. If we want to talk about the level of defensiveness that people
Mm-hmm.
have, but you have to be open. You know, if you're open, then there's nothing that you can't actually learn and process if you're willing.
If you're willing. There you go. That's
That,
it right there. That
that
is it right there, bro.
got to be willing to look at other things, want to do something else. So how do we encourage even adults? Because our adults, I mean, if I go to my old block, a lot of people still live there. Absolutely. They never left. How do you be like, how would you approach them without them thinking that, oh, you bougie now, you live up there? Because you get that. No, I
You know
just,
you know what? You transparently, in my opinion, you ask them, what do you want to do?
mhm.
What's really been on your mind?
Motivate you.
Do you
I want
want
to
to when
do
you
what
want to
I've been
open a
doing.
business?
Get out my house. I want to
You
do
know,
that.
you gotta be transparent with people,
Yeah.
man. You can't be bullshitting nobody no more, man.
So here's another element that I think that we need to throw into this when we talk about it. Like, you know, like there are positions that people get to in life where financially it affords them the ability to gain some of this exposure and have some of this flexibility, you know, to do these things. Some of these situations that are generational for people are generational based on that, you know, their finances, you know, like where, you know, I have the apartment for 20 years, then I pass the apartment down to you, and then you pass
Mhm.
it down
Hey,
and
that's crazy.
and stuff like that.
That's
Apartment inheritance.
Yeah.
spouse.
But you know
That's
what?
generation.
If you've never learned and you don't have the resources, then
That's all you know.
some of these concepts that we discuss is foreign to people. You know,
That's
like I
right.
think we could sit around and we could talk about all this stuff,
Mhm.
but again, you have to keep in mind that you're introducing something completely different to people than they've experienced for 30, 40 years.
Mhm.
So
That's a fact.
it's not going to click like that for people like, wait a minute, you mean I don't have to be here? I just thought that, you know, my mom gave the apartment to me. I'm going to give it to my daughter and I'm going to do this, that, or whatever. And, you know, many people don't point it out as it being something that's wrong. People point it out as it being resourceful. Like, oh, you know, we're being resourceful. You know, the rent is, or they looking in terms of, oh, the rent is fixed. You know, the rent is not going to increase or whatever it is. There are these other variables in place where people don't have the means to go out and have these other experiences and things like that. So I think we always, when we talk about these things, we always have to be mindful that it requires, some of these things require creativity,
Mhm.
mindset, I think is a good one,
Ima-
and
Imagination
imagination, and also
and
some level of
really
resources in education. You know, like there are people that probably pay something, you know, let's say they pay $700-800 to live in the projects in the Bronx. $700-800 in the South will get you a far better apartment, but you don't know, or you don't have the resources to get down there, or there's fear that prevents you from doing it.
there you
So like
go.
there are these
That's the
other
key
things.
word.
That's
There-
a
Other
key word right
variables
It's
in
there.
play.
Fear.
it's fair. because the way you talking, Shadar, to put it in proper context, I think we talking at a certain age, right? So at a certain age, you done seen some things.
Yeah.
So you either scared
Or not.
or you just ignorant.
Or lazy.
Cause you got
Yo,
or lazy. Cause
yo.
you
So
got
let me.
Instagram. It's too much. You got too much information in front of them for you not to say I don't know.
That
So
That's
let
a
me
fact.
let me
That's a
speak to
fact.
what Corey's saying about ignorance, because there's a negative connotation for people around being ignorant. Like to me, I'd rather a person acknowledge, yo, I'm ignorant, I don't know anything about that, and allow themselves to be educated around these.
Right.
Hmm.
It's different than being stupid. Like if you stupid, you've cut off the opportunity to actually learn about whatever the matter is. Ignorance is just like, yo, I just don't know. I need somebody to educate me and give me the information so I could be knowledgeable.
True.
You know.
True.
So it's again, like I go back to, like, I think that a lot of times, to me, like especially people of color, we're the most resilient people in the world. I was talking to Pete earlier today about this, Corey, and we just happened to be having a conversation about something, and I was saying to him, I was like, yo, as much resilience that we have as people, it usually don't kick in until our backs up against the wall. When our backs up
Then,
against
then,
the wall,
then creativity and
then
imagination
yeah,
come out
then
of the
you give
woodworks out of
five
nowhere.
$5 and feed a family of five. You know, so if we learn how to use our resilience and be resourceful without being put in a position where we're reactive, then the doors will open and we'd be able to do so much. But I don't know if we've gotten to that point yet. And again, like anytime we have these kind of conversations, I talk to people about this. To me, it's important also to acknowledge, I have to acknowledge that my circumstance may be different than other people. I can't run out and start talking to people, yo, you should do this. You need to go buy a house. You need to do this. You need to do that. Yo, you should be a boss. You should be this. You should do this, do that, or whatever. Because not everybody aspires to do it. And frankly, it could come across as judgmental. Like I think that everybody has to do these things or arrive at these things at their own point. And sadly, not everybody is gonna always arrive to it. The only thing we could do is
That's
put
a
the
fact.
information out there. We could
That's
put
a
the information
fact.
out there and tell people like, yo, this is an experience that, how you call it. And my thing is like when I'm, when I do go back to the block, which I don't go often, Corey, if I see somebody out there, oh, this, that, or whatever, I'm like, yo, if I lived here, if I could do it, you could do it too, or whatever. But I'm not trying to give nobody no,
That's a fact.
yo, this is what you need to do with your life. You should go to school. You
Nah,
should
nah.
do this, you should do that, or whatever. Because
You
nobody
don't want to. You
respects
don't
that.
want to. You don't want to dictate to nobody. You
No.
just want to give them an
But it's
opportunity to let
crazy.
them know. You
But
want to
it's
let them
crazy though,
know.
Rob.
Go ahead.
It, it's crazy though, Rob, because what Shadon is saying is like he might when he go back to the block, he might get a certain presentation. When I go back to the block, I might get a certain presentation. But the presentation that I get might offer me to talk to you like this.
Mm.
Cause I don't know if you complimenting me or if you hating. So how I combat against that is, yo, bro, you can do the same thing. But
Mm-hmm.
now this is how you do it. I'm gonna give you the solution. I'll give you everything but $1. And if you can't comprehend that, then there's a
Right.
reason why you in your circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom is better than silver or gold, baby. Words are powerful, man, when you use them the correct way, and
And
then you apply them. You have to apply what you learn, man. That's the fear part. Applying it. You can read a book all day, but if you ain't putting it in practice, you'll never understand what you read
But the
or
Bronx,
bro,
any information that you're given. You know what I'm saying?
when me and my husband we were looking for a house, he was working MTA. I was just getting out of college, so y'all already know I was making pennies to a dollar with this stupid, I call it this stupid paper. But what I did was I had a hustle in me because I'm from the Bronx and my father taught me that hustle. So I opened up the trunk on 161st. They sold pocketbooks for $2 in
Mm.
a little warehouse. I bought a bunch of pocketbooks and some bottled waters. So I'm outside on Kelly Street, 163rd, and
How
I'm
about
outside
that? Shout
chilling
out.
with my family. So what
Mm-hmm.
I did was I was like, y'all, I'm gonna hustle and have fun and drink and party and all that good stuff. I opened up the trunk and people were like, how much? I sold the pocketbooks for $5. I sold $5 pocketbooks and made $10,000. I swear to my mother. I
Wow.
swear to my mother. And what I did was I was like, my
See
husband had
that?
down payment, I had the closing costs. And that's how we got up here.
Mm.
And
Where'd
then
that
But what
come
did you
from?
learn?
Where'd
Yeah,
that come
exactly,
from?
Rob.
Imagination
Exactly.
and creativity.
it
That's
came
what it came. It
work.
came from internal. Let me tell you something. Every single thing you see with the physical eye came from right here.
Yep.
Every single thing. And that's what I mean
Somebody
about,
invited me up here, Rob. I
mhm,
started working at Westchester Medical Center, and I worked for a temp agency, and the nurse said, "Come to my house." And I was
mhm.
like, "Where you live?" I'm like, "Is she trying to, like, you
Right,
not
right,
trust her?
right,
Like,
right, 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 right.
you ain't from where I'm from." I went to her house, and it was upstate further. I forgot the name of the town, but
Mhm.
I was like, I was like, "Can I sit on your back porch?" Yo, I meditated like a mother. I was like, "I can have this. I can
That's an
have this."
that's internal vision. When you
So
can sit and
yeah,
quietly reflect on yourself, that's internal vision. That's what you do. Let me
and
tell you,
that
I
was
said
my
this, and
drive.
I said this before on and Shah knows this. 95 to 99% of the time, you're having a conversation with
With you.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Even as the four of us are on here, we're taking in information, disseminating to us, even though we're talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So anything you see between his hat, the clothes we got on, that came from a thought, that came from a mind, that came from an imagination, and also having a creative spirit. That should be your foundation. You don't have to live in poverty. You don't have to live in any dilapidated community environment that you were raised in, that you were brought up in, but you do have to change your mindset and want to change.
Change.
Mhm.
That
But
comes
Rob,
That's
from
what
you
I did.
personally.
I don't think
That's what I
everybody
did. The
had.
hustle was
I,
there.
I don't think. I don't think everybody had an arm reach for critical thinking, and a lot of people didn't play with toys. Be honest with you, bro. Like
I
there's a
get
lot.
that.
This
I
day
get
and
that.
age,
Yo,
they
there's
I
a
don't
get
lot of.
that.
need toys.
There's a lot of factors that involve helping you think
Mhm.
and to be critical to certain things to drive your imagination.
But
So
you
I
know
don't
what?
think a lot of.
I tell you this, Corey. You're doing it anyway,
But
whether you play
when
with
do
a
you
toy
tap
or
in?
not.
But how do you learn how to tap in?
Mhm.
Somebody has to teach you how to tap in,
Somebody got to teach you that. Somebody got to teach you
right?
that what you're already doing now, you can do it better. Let me tell you,
Facts.
anybody that's in a situation where they don't like where they are, it's because you're thinking. And I'm not talking about a child. A child is there because their parents have them in that condition. But if you're an
Right.
adult and your situation isn't what you want it to be, you
Mhm.
have to look at yourself
Right.
as to why you're sitting in the same position. I've heard grown men say, "Yo, I'm 50-something years old," and I said, "Well, how you been thinking for the last 30 years, bro?"
Like a kid.
Yo, Rob ain't even
Like a
that young.
kid.
I'm just being honest. Like I'm telling you, man, it's different when you learn critical thinking. Matter of fact, it's even more potent when you learn how to just silence yourself, man.
And think.
Leave all the distractions alone. Let me tell you how Caucasians stay in power. They ain't got no fucking fear. That's not they worry. They ain't worried about nothing. They can sit somewhere, sip wine, smoke a cigar, be so at peace about where their lives are going. That's part of their success. We worry. We got so many different things that's on our plate, and a lot of it is designed to be that way. This broken window bullshit that we're talking about to begin with, that's all perpetuated by someone creating a narrative that a broken window in a neighborhood creates an urban environment where niggas want to piss and shit and jaywalk. The fuck out of here.
Yo.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm getting
Nah,
personal,
no,
but
but he
that
got but no. There's some realism to that, yo.
Yeah.
I remember I broke Mr. Last window and it was over. You know? It was over.
but
And ass
the
whooping it.
crime came to the hood once you broke the window.
Nah,
So.
my father was the crime. But then you gotta think about all the other rascals that was running around the community
Yeah.
disrespecting the community though.
Well, we
I'm
got,
gonna go back
bro.
to self.
We
I'm
got
gonna go back
more.
to self sufficiency. It starts with you as the individual.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Right.
You
All
gotta
starts
tap into
and ends with
yourself, yo.
it starts and ends with you. how motivated you are, and
I'm
everybody,
motivated.
and we want to know. Ask yourself, how motivated am I to move up? How motivated am I to stay where I'm at? Because sometimes our motivation is to sit here, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
but then don't blame the outside sources because your life is
Right.
where it's at. Do not blame the government. The government did nothing to you.
Yo, that's the
Wait,
It's
government is
real.
the number one
that's
source
what
of
they
everybody's
do.
problems. That people say though, yeah.
Yeah, don't blame the government. Government did nothing to you. Don't blame. Okay, your past. You only try to make your past your past. Work through it. Don't get over it. Work through it,
Work
and
through it.
then
That's right.
figure out where you want to be, and then work for it. Bust your
Right.
ass for it. You gotta bust your ass. You know how we say bust our guns, whatever you want to say, bust them, but bust them the right way.
Right. Right.
Figure out where
Hop
you're
off
at.
right with.
You want to stay where you're at, then by all means stay.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to move, do something about it. Because we all, when you know better, you do better. But I always add a twist to it. Now, what are you going to do? Because we can know a lot of stuff. We can know we don't
Right.
want to be here. We can know that we want to be millionaires. We can know we want to be entrepreneurs. We can know we want to go to school. What are you going to do about it? Pick up that
Right.
stupid cell phone and call. Google a goddamn school. I mean, we got Google and YouTube University. It should be no reason why we are
OG,
where we're at and not
one of the
we
OGs,
are.
Jay Prince, said in an interview, when you wake up, every time you open your eyes, you got a chance and a choice. That's all you got is a chance and a choice. Now, do you want to maximize your chances? Make good choices.
Simple.
Yo, you know what? You know what I see? I know Mo said it, and what Janelle was just talking about also is that intrinsic motivation. And I don't know
Hmm.
if everybody
Yeah.
has that same level of motivation. You know.
Yeah,
Exposure play
but
that though.
something
You gotta
motivates you. There's
Something
always
you wake up.
something
That's
will motivate you. That is a good motivation. The fact that you open your eyes and you took
yeah.
that
yeah, but
first
Rob, you
deep
got
breath. Go ahead.
but when you in the environment of where we came from,
And you don't
Hmm.
know.
you don't know.
No.
You gotta be taught what's the right choice and to understand what's the wrong choice.
Mhm.
Because if you don't, you're gonna be stuck.
Well, look at yourself. You've been in trouble. I
Right.
mean, I hate to make it seem like it's an easy way
No,
because
but
it's not no easy because we all come from that
Yeah.
same
It's not an
environment.
easy fix, but
We
it's
not
a
we
fix.
not we
It's
not
fixable.
silver spoon individuals
No.
on this
We're
lie.
fixed.
right,
Straight
facts.
Bronx, straight Bronx.
Right.
I remember
Straight
looking out my
Bronx.
window at St. Mary's Projects and watched the Bronx burn.
Burn. That's
I,
right.
I
Right.
knew I knew where every fire department was by how many buildings was getting burned in the Bronx. Looking out my
But
window,
yo,
and
Well,
then I
we
moved
all
up.
had it hard.
Then I moved uptown thinking it was going to be a little better, but then uptown is Edenwald. Get the
can
fuck
I
out of here,
yo
son! It's all over the place.
yo can I highlight this what one Janelle said, because this is where I think I was getting at. She said that's not enough when you're hopeless. That's not
Mm.
enough when you're hopeless. Like that's what I'm saying.
Shy, you choppy, shot.
Instagram ain't happy with his conversation.
He said, "You started this. You started all
And
this
he
talk."
still
Right,
Okay. All
and
right.
I'm in total agreement with that,
Yeah.
Sha. If that's what you want to do, you
Yeah,
have
that's why I
every
said it.
right to live your life the way you
Yeah,
want it.
you have
But
every right
please
to
don't
live.
complain about nothing, B.
And
Don't
don't point the
Don't
finger.
blame. Don't
Don't
blame.
point the
don't play
finger.
victim.
Don't
Don't play
blame.
victim. I don't want to hear no victim shit. Don't
Yeah.
do that
That's
because
the only
you
thing
can.
is, if you're okay
That's my
with the
big.
way you're living, you cannot blame the food stamp, the SNAP, the Section 8, the this, the that. You can't.
Do your thing. Do your thing. I'll support. Do your numbers.
Yeah.
Do whatever it is that you got to do because you have the right to live the way you want to live. But please don't complain while you're living in the condition that you're living and you're like, why is this happening? Why that? Why ask why? Why equals self?
Mm.
Oh
That's all I'm
man.
going
True,
to say.
man.
Yeah.
we on here, none of us were born, we came from the gutter. We came from
100%.
the gutter.
100%, yo.
Please, nobody think that we're coming from a place where we didn't struggle. We knew about trading in food stamps at the Chinese restaurant for cash. We grew up, that was our life. So what we're saying on here is things are changing, the world is growing. You're going to go to jail or whatever for peeing in the street. I mean, going back to that, we really got to start thinking and using our brains. I don't care if the brains is fried. There's something up there that will say, okay, this is getting ready to happen. What am I going to do?
The brains are fried.
That's right.
I don't care if half our brains is fried. I mean, we got so much trauma, our brain be like this. But
That's what it is, though. There's a lot of trauma.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
A
but we
lot of trauma, son. I'm
Yo,
still dealing with
there's a
trauma.
lot of trauma.
thank you.
Man, if I could be
Yeah, you
transparent with
both.
someone, because yo, son, yeah. But you
I'm
know
happy. Yo,
what? Like
listen.
I said,
I'm happy to. I'm happy to say some of my trauma is still death. It ain't nothing else. You know what I'm saying? Like it's losing my grandmother.
Yeah.
That
right,
that's
Yeah.
that's. I'm cool. I'm cool with that. You know what I'm
right,
saying? But
yeah, right,
to other people that's dealing with other trauma though, like that's a whole different. That's a whole different problem.
Mhm.
right, son. Yo,
Yeah.
shot. This is a dope. Damn, son. We've been on like three
Can,
hours, son.
can you can hear me now?
Facts.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. You clear
you're
now.
back.
Yeah, yeah. I was saying though, it's pretty hard. It's gonna be hard to visualize yourself being successful when you're trying to figure out how you just gonna pay rent that month
How you
for.
gonna eat? Right. How
Yeah,
you
or how
gonna
you gonna
eat?
How
eat
you
for that
gonna
day.
eat? It's no food on the shelves.
So,
But yo, what's crazy is, do you listen to? Look, at this age, I start to think about what teachers said. What your teachers used to say when you was in school. Do not
Oh
play
man.
with your life, man. Don't play with it.
yeah,
Take it serious. Do what you gotta do, and keep it pushing.
Keep it pushing, baby.
that's
Keep
Those
it.
in them circles.
called adulting
If
though.
you not, but listen, if you don't have no physical capability, like limitations, or you can't do certain things, that's one thing. But if you still got all your faculties and you can move around, and you ain't moving how you supposed to, you wasting time.
Yeah,
You
but
you
yo,
belong in that circumstance.
yeah, if we really gonna look at the trauma though, then we got to talk about like how it stunted people's growth. Because
Yeah.
like from a
Right.
cognitive standpoint, you look at people's age, they may be 40, but cognitively and emotionally, they probably still teenagers based on the trauma that they
Right.
experience.
And never let it
Right.
go, son. They didn't let it
Right.
go. That's right.
Right.
That's a
The
fact, man.
environment, man.
Yeah. So we want to thank everybody for joining us. Like Rob said, this has been a really long live, but this has been a great discussion. And thank you everybody for chiming in. If you haven't had a chance yet, follow the No Ideas Original podcast on YouTube. We're trying to do more Instagram lives to have discussions like this. Also, we don't only have these type of discussions. We also have discussions where we interview guests. So we've interviewed people in the community. Like I'm thinking about the what's the name Yimmy that we
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, we interview who actually started a community farm in Brooklyn.
And Bushwick, Brooklyn. How
Yeah,
about that?
and you talk about sustainability. So we interview her. We interview app developers. We interview rappers. Monday we actually have an interview coming out with you and Baby Paul. He's the dude who actually produced songs on Nas Stillmatic. He's produced tracks on AZ's last couple of albums also. He worked with Boot Camp Click. So we just going to continue bringing conversations to you guys. Hopefully you tune in, pull up. Like I said, if you haven't, subscribe. If you're not following the No Ideas Original podcast page, follow the page. We love having the back and forth dialogue with people also. Anything y'all want to say in closing? Rob, Corey, Janelle?
I want to thank our two guests right here who are always on board with us. Big Jess, Super Corey. I love the both of y'all, man, because your views and your points are well respected. I appreciate the wisdom you bring to this channel, and I love you both. And to everyone out there, use your imagination. It's yours, no one else's. You can create the life you want only if you're motivated to do so. So, on that note.
Facts. Go ahead, Janelle. And
I
check
just
out
wanna
No Ideas Original Sports also. Sorry about that, Kenyatta. Go ahead.
Yes, no, guys, you got to follow everybody. Follow their pages. They are authentic. These guys are great. And this was a great conversation. I'm so glad that when I hit the plus sign, you guys allowed me here. But everybody has greatness in them. Figure out what your greatness is. Your greatness is not my greatness. It's your very own greatness.
Right.
Utilize it. Figure it out. If you don't know what your greatness is, this is the time when you ask yourself, where do I want to be? How great do I want to be? What is my definition of a greatness? What is my definition of growing and evolving? And then go out there and be the best version of you. I love you guys. Thank you.
Pull it up. Go ahead, Corey.
Yeah, cool.
Yo, all I'm gonna say is stay motivated, read a book, you know what I'm saying, expand your imagination. And yo, look, travel the world, go see something. You know what I'm saying? Stay motivated. That's it.
That's it.
Shannon
Yo,
is
real
always
quick, real quick
love.
before we
Rob, thanks.
Yo, real quick before we let you go, tell everybody about where you just came back from.
Oh, I just came back from Ethiopia. It was
Word? We need to talk to
yeah,
you for an hour, my D. Come on, son.
yeah.
How you
It
just run
was
that
it,
past us like that?
yeah, it was eye opening, and you know, it kind of changed my life a little bit, man. I got a different perspective.
As you
You
should.
know, Ethiopia is not colonized; they liberated,
Wow.
and
Look at that.
they live a certain lifestyle in peace and harmony. And when you land, they're gonna say, "Welcome home."
That's the home of the real Jews, D.
And the beauty of it,
100%,
Real.
is your imagination took you further than Playland. Something took you
bro,
Playland.
bro. I don't know if I'm relatable. I don't even know if I'm relatable at this point. You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference. But you know, it's a wealth of knowledge. My brain is rich
Right.
with knowledge, man. At the end of the
There
day.
you go.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Salute to you, Cole. Salute to you,
everybody
good brother.
get an opportunity, man. If you haven't left the country, leave the country, man. Just go some other places, experience other countries, see how people live. You know, find out, do the research. You know, embrace history. See some of these things that we've only seen in textbooks. See it with yourself. Have that experience.
Be
It could
with
be life
yourself,
changing.
man.
You know, it could
That's
be
what I'm
life.
talking about, man.
With that being said, thank you, everybody. We'll catch you on the next episode. Peace out.
Good
Peace.
night.
Love.